Senator Manchin. Chairman's prerogative says that we can do one more quick go around. I have just two more questions, and I hope they will be brief here. But when we deal with some of the projects that have so much potential, whether it's the potential to be able to utilize the natural gas that we have in Alaska's North Slope, we're going to have to figure out the way that we move that gas to Tidewater, move it to the market, and that will require a process. You've got to get a host of timely issued federal environmental permits. The longer the delay for the permits, the more expensive the project is. So I'd like your commitment to be working with us, not only for projects like the Alaska LNG project, but also recognizing that when it comes to our domestic mineral production, we're sitting dead last in the amount of time it takes to get to yes or no answers to get these permits for our domestic minerals production. And I think we recognize, we talk a lot about the vulnerability that we have as a nation, looking to other nations for oil and relying on oil. Well, we're headed that same direction when it comes to minerals, because we need the minerals that will make things like this, or the vehicles, or the wind turbines that we're relying on for renewable energy. But this permitting process that we're dealing with can oftentimes just end up being this dead zone where the costs pile on, the projects get delayed, and folks give up. So I'd like your focus, your muscle behind ensuring that we have a fair process, that it is an expeditious process, and one that really works efficiently. Because so much of the frustration, so much of this lack of trust that you've been talking about, I think stems from much of what people see that they term bureaucratic delay and unnecessary red tape.
Well, I agree, and when the process becomes arbitrary, and we talked about taxpayer value, when you're bidding on a piece of property to either mine or drill, and that value is significantly reduced because of uncertainty, the taxpayer doesn't get its full value on it. So on a permit process, it has to be fair. It can't be arbitrary, but there has to, I'm not going to say certainty, but certainly when you're bidding on a project, the value of that bid is on the basis that you can execute it. And when there's no certainty of execution, then as a taxpayer, we don't get the right price for it. So our permitting process is broke. It is somewhat arbitrary. And I do think we need to focus on it. But it needs to be fair, and it needs to be a process where NEPA considerations do need to be taken, because we all want the same thing. Hopefully we do. We all want clean air, clean water, and make sure that we understand consequences.
Well, I look forward to working with you on that. Last question. The current Secretary of the Interior knew that she could not come into this committee room without me asking a question about the status of her effort to assist the close to some 1,000 people that live in the little Aleut community of King Cove, and how we are going to make sure that they too have access to what most Americans would consider just an essential part of living, and that is access to a life-saving road that could get them out in the event of medical emergency. The fine people of King Cove have been fighting this fight for over 3 decades. They have been let down repeatedly by their federal government. They do not trust their federal government because repeatedly they have been told that there is higher value to the animals and the birds than there is to their human life. That's pretty hard. So I'm going to ask you, recognizing the federal trust obligation that you have as you begin this new role, recognizing that you have clear compassion for our Native peoples. I'm asking you to do everything that you possibly can to work with us to reopen, review this decision that has led to a rejection of this life-saving road.
You have my absolute commitment that I will restore trust and work with you on this issue because it's important.
Thank you.
I didn't know where King Cove was before I was nominated for the job. I know where it is now.
I'd like to take you out there when we open a road, and you'll know it firsthand.
I can't wait to meet the great people of the 1,000 people of King Cove. I know where it is on the map now. I don't know the ground, but I look forward to being there.
Thank you. Thank you.